Hi, I'm Charlie Nardozzi for the Gardener Supply Company. If you're new to gardening or just want to up your gardening game and produce more vegetables, flowers, and herbs this year, you might want to try raised beds. Raised beds have come a long way from just a mound of soil in the garden. There's new materials that you can use and new techniques that make them even more productive. Oh, raised beds, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. 1, they're elevated, so they warm up faster in the spring and drain water quicker so you can garden sooner. 2, you bring in your own soil. You don't have to worry about the native soil, whether it's too sandy, too clayey. You can use a mix of compost and topsoil to create the perfect medium so that 3, it's more productive. Your plants will grow faster and better, and you can plant more of them in a smaller space. 4, it also defines the space. So if you have kids and dogs around and they're running all over the place, a raised bed helps you define where the garden is and where the play areas are. 5, you're not going to have to worry about the soil compacting because the raised beds are never wider than 3 to 4 feet. So in that way, you'll never have to step on the beds. 6, you can elevate your beds if you don't want to have to bend down so much, or you want to create a bed where you don't have problems with mice and voles and chipmunks and gophers and rabbits. Use an elevated raised bed so everything is up high and they can't find it. 7, there's all kinds of materials you can use for raised beds. Metal is a cool new material because it's so beautiful and it lasts a long time. 8, you can cover them really easily, protecting them from the weather, from insects and animals. So with all of these reasons, you've got to grow a raised bed garden this year. One of the weakest spots in a traditional wooden raised bed are the corners. Over time, they'll start rotting out and bowing, and you'll have to replace the whole bed. We've got a great solution for you. The lifetime aluminum raised bed corners will hold the whole bed in place for years. They're made out of metal, so they're not going to break down. They come in 7 different sizes, from 6 inches tall to 35 inches tall. So how do these lifetime aluminum raised bed corners work? Let me show you. You've got your corner here with the pre-drilled holes. You just take your 2-inch diameter wood and just slide it through the channel. Then attach screws through those pre-drilled holes and it'll stay in place. And these lifetime raised bed corners will be with you for a lifetime. So what if you want to make a really long bed or extend an existing bed? We've got a solution for you. We have inline connectors that'll take a 4-foot or a 6-foot long bed and turn it into an 8 or a 12-foot long bed. These are really nice because they're just like the raised bed corners in the sense that you can get them in 7 different sizes, from 6 inches to 35 inches tall. All you need to do is to place them at the end of your bed, get your 2-inch diameter wood, slide it down through the channel, line it up, and then you want to put another piece of wood about halfway through here, halfway down the bed. And the reason you're doing this is to prevent it from bowing. You know, any bed that's longer than about 8 feet is naturally going to bow. So this will keep it all in place. And then just using these pre-drilled holes and your drill, you can simply put it in place so it'll stay nice and square for as long as you want that bed. The lifetime aluminum raised bed corners also come with plastic caps that will give the corners a nice finished look. Most wooden raised beds are either square or rectangular, but if you want to get a little more creative, we have this pivoting raised bed corner. This is great. It's a hinge that just fits together like this, so your bed normally would be like this, or you can just turn it and have a 90-degree bed or anything in between. In this way, you can make a hexagon, for example, or a serpentine bed that'll snake across the yard. These come in 6, 8, 10, and 12-inch sizes. And they're great for small space yards because sometimes you just don't have the right space for a big bed, but if you can turn it a little bit, it'll fit perfectly. To give your pivoting raised bed corners a finished look, we have these plastic caps that you can just press down right in there so it looks really neat and tidy. This is probably our most popular raised bed. It's a Vermont-made North American cedar raised bed made from 1-inch diameter wood. It has rust-proof aluminum raised bed corners that are long-lasting, and it comes in 14 different sizes, from 2 feet by 4 feet all the way up to 12 feet long. It's 7 inches deep, so it's perfect for any kind of vegetable, herb, and flower that you want to grow. If you want to grow perennial fruits or vegetables or flowers, you might want something that's a little deeper rooted. That's why we have this deep root raised bed. This is a 4x8 cedar raised bed, one of our popular models, and it has those rust-proof aluminum raised bed corners as well. It fits 15 inches of soil in it, so that's perfect for a lot of deep-rooted vegetables because you're mixing in compost and potting soils. You'll have a great soil medium to raise your crops to perfection. If you're looking for a raised bed that's going to be a little bit better on your back and knees, an elevated raised bed might be for you. These are raised up 28 inches high, so they're really easy to access. You can just stretch right over and garden right in the middle of this while you're standing up. This is a North American cedar 4x8 raised bed. It has 32 square feet of planting space, so it's a whole garden right here for you. Now, if you're looking at this thinking that, oh, that's a lot of potting soil, you don't have to worry. It has a false bottom that's 9 inches deep, so that you don't have to fill this whole box up with soil. This one will last a long time. It has rust-proof aluminum raised bed corners. If you're looking for a more refined look in a raised bed, how about our copper-capped raised bed? These are made from 7/8 inch thick boards, and they come in two different sizes, a 3x3 and a 3x6 foot size. They have attractive copper caps that prevent moisture from collecting on the posts, and they're reinforced with aluminum brackets. These beds are 14 inches deep, so they're perfect for growing almost any kind of plant. If you like the idea of an elevated raised bed so you don't have to bend down so much, you're going to love the elevated cedar planter box. This one comes in 2x4 and 2x8 sizes, and it's Vermont made from North American cedar that's 1 inch in diameter. It has those rust-proof aluminum raised bed corners, so it's long lasting. You can get the wood as natural cedar or an eco-stain version of it as well. It's 9 inches deep, so it has plenty of space for planting room. If you want to protect your plants from cold, wind, frost, rain, insects, and animals, get the plant protection frames and covers. These can come with their 2x4 or 2x8 raised bed kits, and you buy them as a bundle. You get both the micromesh insect cover and the vented greenhouse cover. The greenhouse cover will protect plants from a frost, so you can start things earlier in the spring and grow them later into the fall. You can access your bed from two different directions in both the micromesh and the vented greenhouse cover. This makes it so much easier to plant. For the ultimate accessory for your elevated raised beds, you can get an elevated raised bed self-watering insert. This is going to save you time and headaches too. These are great because they fit in any of the 2-foot wide elevated raised beds. You get a reservoir like this that fills up to 5 gallons of water, and you connect the reservoirs with this tube. Then once you have them connected, you put your insert inside the reservoir and it's laid in the raised bed. By filling up the end, the filler tube here, with water, you'll eventually have the water go right down, filling up all the different reservoirs, so it'll keep the bed evenly moist. This way you can go away for a weekend or so and not have to worry about your raised bed drying out. Your bed will ultimately look like this beautiful one right here without a lot of care. Another option in elevated gardens is the V-shaped veg trug patio garden. The most popular veg trug sizes are the patio garden, almost 6 feet long, and the compact garden, about half that size, just over 3 feet long. The deep V in the center provides plenty of depth for deep-rooted plants such as tomatoes, while shallower edges holds just enough soil for salad greens and herbs. If you're looking for a different look from wood, there's some cool options. Metal raised beds are all the rage. They're great because they're longer lasting than wood, and some of them don't even rust. Let me show you a new one we have right now. Try the curved raised bed. This one is really unique. It's made from rust-resistant steel and is fashioned in 3 semicircles that are kind of woven together. It's cool because the semicircle in the back is very deep, so you can plant things like peppers here and eggplants and they'll do really well. Whereas the pieces of metal in the front here are pretty shallow, so they're better for herbs and some different flowers. What's nice about this bed is that you can concentrate a whole bunch of plants in a small space. We have 7 or 8 different plants here growing really well, and if you have a spot where it's really sunny, the metal actually will heat up the soil, so you can get out a little sooner in the spring to do some gardening, and it'll last a little later in the fall. So try that curved raised bed for a unique look in your garden. This is a new self-watering metal raised bed. It's really cool because it's made from alu zinc, which is 6 times more durable than galvanized steel. It's about 15 inches deep and it has a great shape to it. Plus, it's self-watering, and that's a real new innovation. These self-watering metal raised beds come in different sizes, 2x4, 4x4, and 2x8. Just slide it in to your raised bed. It's that easy. Finish topping off your bed with your self-watering potting soil. And then after that, you might want to mix in a little compost too. That'll just add a little more fertility. The most fun part, of course, is planting. And I'm going to pop in a whole bunch of different lettuces here. You know, the nice thing about these metal self-watering raised beds is that even if they're in part shade, because they heat up the soil, you'll be able to extend your season into the fall or get started a little sooner in the spring. That'll give you more plants, more food, and more fun in one of these raised beds.